Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite games of all time. Sure, the story is pretty stupid and no one likes babysitting an AI character, but the gameplay is just so much damn fun. The controls and the combat are polished and the upgrade system is fair and balanced. Resident Evil 4 is a game that can be played over and over again simply because of its superb gameplay. But what if Resident Evil 4 wasn't so well polished? Would it still be a good game or even a playable one? Probably not. So, are you curious to see what Resident Evil 4 would look like without its fun gameplay? If you are, then go check out The Evil Within. It's a game that obviously draws very heavily from Resident Evil 4, but lacks any of the fun and intuitive gameplay that made it so great. The Evil Within is a third-person survival horror game released by Bethesda, the same people behind the Elder Scrolls and the recent Fallout games. In The Evil Within, you play as Detective Sebastian Castellanos. There's been an incident at a local mental hospital, and you and your partner are called to the scene to investigate. From there, the game proceeds to tell the story of a serial killer named Ruvik and Sebastian's efforts to stop him. There's obviously more to it than that, but even if I was giving away spoilers, I honestly don't think I could tell you much else about it. The story that the game tells is disjointed and rambling, and basically just doesn't make sense. Some backstory is given on Sebastian, some backstory is given on Ruvik, there's some Matrixy Inception shit. There's a character named Leslie that seems important but never really does anything except run away. There are monsters for some reason, and there's a doctor who might be a good guy and might be a bad guy. After beating the game, the only thing I could think was, wait, what? The entire game doesn't really have a point, and after beating it, I was left wondering how any of the seemingly random events and characters were supposed to fit together. On closer inspection, there is evidence of a story arc, and you can kinda see what the writers were going for. But either some plot points got cut, or the story was never very good to begin with, because this game just doesn't make sense. It almost feels like Shinji Mikami, the creator of both The Evil Within and Resident Evil, was like, hey, it'd be cool if we made a game where a bunch of zombie things had like barbed wire and glass stuck all over their bodies, right? And when people asked why, he was just like, we'll figure it out as we go along. Most of the things in the game go unexplained. It's not even clear why Sebastian is the protagonist past the fact that he has bad luck and he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Gameplay-wise, you get a variety of guns and explosives, as well as matches to finish off down zombies. You can use your fists, which are pretty useless, and you can pick up single-use melee weapons, such as axes, bottles, and torches, which are also pretty useless because they can only be used once. Enemies can use melee weapons as much as they want, but as soon as you pick one up, single use. I would understand if things broke over time, but a single use? Come on, that doesn't make sense. You collect green brain gel. Seriously, I don't know what else this stuff is supposed to be. From enemies in jars throughout the world to upgrade your character's abilities, weapon attributes, and inventory slots. This upgrade system was the only thing that kept me going, and without this small silver lining, I don't know if I would have been able to finish this game. As you upgrade your character, the game starts to get easier, but it still doesn't completely fix the bullshit deaths and trial and error gameplay. And that's exactly what this game is, trial and error. Checkpoints are plentiful, so it's never too much of an issue. It's just fucking tedious to have to repeat sections over and over again because of stiff controls and cheap deaths. Melee combat is clunky, and even with the melee damage fully upgraded, it's not very useful. Enemies still take a ton of hits. A basic enemy takes about 7 to 8 hits when you're fully leveled, and they can kill you in about 2 to 3. On top of this, the controls are imprecise and it's easy to accidentally run into an enemy that you're trying to avoid. In a more general sense, the basic enemies are simply just too powerful. Early on, I struggled to take down single enemies, and later on you can run into trouble unless you are fully stocked with health and ammo, which are both very rare and you can't carry that much. On top of this, there are traps everywhere. Similar to Resident Evil 4, there are bear traps, tripwires, and proximity mines scattered around each area. However, unlike Resident Evil 4, when the traps seem to abruptly stop halfway through the game, they are a constant annoyance in The Evil Within. On the plus side, some traps can be dismantled for parts, which can be used to craft bolts for the crossbow. But many traps are insta-kills, and they can be difficult to spot. As you get further in the game, you even run into traps that can't be deactivated and must be dodged. On one of these traps, I died 18 times, literally 18 times, before I was finally able to sneak through it. This is not good game design. This is bullshit trial and error. Like I said, checkpoints are plentiful, so none of these traps really break the game. They are just enough of a nuisance to annoy you, but not enough to make you stop playing. Eventually, I did make it to the end of the game and was treated to another section of standard enemies, followed by an especially annoying section of traps, followed by a lengthy cutscene. Then the game ended. There was no boss fight, no real resolution, no real explanation to anything. It's not even clear which character survived and which died. There's even one character who just literally disappears without any real explanation. After you beat it, you get the standard Resident Evil New Game Plus business, where you unlock extra guns and get to continue upgrading your character. Why you would want to replay this game is beyond me, however. I struggled to get through it once, and the only thing that kept me going was a basic character upgrade system, and the shred of hope that the story would start making sense. Of course, it never did. Unfortunately, I have to give The Evil Within an awful. I really wanted to like it. I love horror games, and Evil Within does a real good job of creating a creepy game world. And the psychopathic Ruvik has a lot of potential. Past that, though, there's not much else that redeems it. And this is a game that you're better off avoiding. I'm Frank from Brilliantly Epic, and I'll see you next review.